Alright, welcome back, folks. Hope your Sunday is going well. Mine is splendid. It's going fantastic. I am overjoyed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm humbled. I'm ecstatic. I'm just so grateful to everyone out there who has listened to our album that came out on Friday, Get Political, by the Michael Brothers. Out everywhere on streaming platforms right now, except for Amazon, because fuck that company, they suck. And what's the name of our album? So, Get Political. Go out there, listen to it, stream it. And thank you to all those people who have listened to it already. The feedback that we've gotten has just been incredible. Truly appreciate it. Can't say it enough. I love hearing people that not only are people listening to it, but they are sending us their favorite songs, engaging with us on it, and we really, really appreciate it. So if you haven't listened to it, go ahead. If you have, thank you so much, and thank you again for all the comments. You could leave more below here if you want to talk about it. Do whatever. Anyways, on to why we're actually here this week. Hashtag ROTW, record of the week, not rat of the week. Hashtag rats get the bats. Fuck those rat people. Hashtag ROTW. Record of the week. We're here today, and I was originally going to do a completely different ROTW. I had a whole thing planned. I was going to get some, real nice... I had some real nice juicy facts, ready to go. I had some awesome takes. I had some hot takes. I had some cool takes. I had some lit stuff. But you know what? I'm going to save it for another week because my boy in Bowmanville, who I grab records from, I'm not sure if I can say his name, so I won't. Got a message from him. Said that he had this record specifically and had to make the drive out there into the boonies, as people from Toronto would say it, even though it's very suburban anyways, out to Bowmanville, picked up this record, and I have to talk about it. It is Bob Dylan's Desire. The reason why I have to talk about this album today is because this album had such an impact on my writing of Get Political, and I'm not going to be here claiming that I got to Bob Dylan's level. We all know that that's just not true. That's just fake news. However, this album and what it shows that you can do in terms of writing songs about politics is incredible. It showed me that you can write songs about politics and not have it be cheesy. Because let's face it, there's a lot of cheesy political songs out there. And I hate saying this, but, songs like, War, What Is It Good For? Kind of cheesy. I love Bruce Springsteen, huge Bruce fan. And this is a hot take, but, Born in the USA... kind of cheesy, man. It's just they don't make me want to get up and do shit or make me contemplate like this album does, like the songs on this album do. They are fantastic. It's an excellent album, and before I go into any more, let's do a little brief breakdown on the history of Bob Dylan's Desire. So this album is Bob's follow-up to his comeback album, Blood on the Tracks. Blood on the Tracks was released in 1974. This album was recorded in 1975 and released in January 1976. It was released in between Bob Dylan's live period where he was going through the Rolling Thunder REVUE shows, and I had to say that slowly. Rolling Thunder REVUE. It is why you would call it that, I don't know. Huge jumble, but whatever. This tour was significant because it was Bob Dylan going out there with guys and girls that he chose to jam with. These are his own band. This is a band that he assembled and he wanted to work with specifically, and let's just say it, he knocked it out of the park. This is an album that musicians will love because the musicianship on it is top notch. Basically what happened is Bob Dylan was in an era of seclusion. His music was not very successful, all of this type of stuff. And he essentially just decided to, leave that era of seclusion, leave those weird records that he had. That one record where it's super bizarre covers, even though apparently it's for a joke, but it sucks either way. and he decided to assemble his own band because he never really had his own band that he assembled before. While everyone knows that he worked with the band, they were a band before Bob Dylan, they were a band after Bob Dylan. This was a band that Bob Dylan assembled by going out, leaving his seclusion, going out into Greenwich Village, and picking the best musicians that he could find. And my God, he did such a good job. He got Scarlett Rivera on violin. If you're a violinist, if you're someone who just digs that sound, she's on most of these songs, if not all of them, and she is incredible. Apparently the album was in the musical ideas for the album were originally done with just her and Bob going over it together, and they are amazing. It's fantastic stuff. But also beyond just Scarlett Rivera, we have Emmylou Harris doing background vocals on this album. Excellent job by her. We also have Rob Stoner doing his thing on the bass. Also, kick-ass name. I don't know if that's his actual name. But if it is Rob Stoner, I applaud you. Probably about 300 years ago, that was a bad name to have. Stoner, think about it for a second. But that's a kick-ass name. Good for you, Rob. And not only that, he has some succulent bass lines on this album. If you are a bass guy who wants to really learn how to play bass within the folk genre, especially folk rock, listen to this album. Fantastic bass lines. You've also got Howard Wyeth on drums. And I think it's underrated, the drumming on this album, big time. I think that this really sets the standard for how folk rock drums should sound, and they sound the same as they do on here. And I'm not a drummer, but heavy on the toms, light on the snare. That continues to permeate throughout folk rock. So fantastic job on that. This band assemblage is amazing. This is definitely, as I said, a musician's album. If you are a musician, you will love this. But it's Bob Dylan. We're not just going to talk about the music. We obviously have to talk about the lyrics. And this album was a collaborative effort, not just with all those amazing musicians, but also lyrically. Bob Dylan decided to go on a 2-week sort of working crazy period with this gentleman named Jacques Levy. And they came out of this album just writing amazing songs. Jacques had a background that was more in theater, and you can see how well it lends it to this album. So, why do I want to talk about this more? Obviously, if we're going to talk about desire, and I talk about the political aspect of it, this album has tons of great songs. It has Isis, unfortunate name in modern time, but, can't do anything about that now. Mozambique, One More Cup of Coffee, Romance in Durango, Black Diamond Bay, Sarah, Joey. Unreal songs. All great songs. But I want to dive just head deep into and talk about the, in my opinion, best Bob Dylan song written, best political song written, one of the best just songs written ever, which is Bob Dylan's Hurricane. So, Hurricane is a 8-minute, unbelievable song that he wrote with Jacques Levy based upon real facts. And it's one of those things that when you listen to it now, in 2021, and if it's going to be the first time that you're going to hear this, you think that you're in you can't believe that this was written in 1975. It is the story that takes place in Hurricane is an unfortunate continuing permutation throughout our society, the ugliest part of our society. And the story sounds just as plausible today as it does back then, despite how shocking and disgusting it is. So for those who are not familiar, Hurricane is a song about the boxer Rubin Carter. Basically, the story of this song is pretty simple. Bob Dylan was, as I said, looking to write stuff in the 1970s. He had just written some more political songs. Bob Dylan is an icon of should be at least, and is kind of forgotten as an icon of the civil rights movement. He had a huge part in the civil rights movement. And he wanted to continue that type of work. And he was looking for stories, and he just happened to get a book sent to him that was the biography of Rubin Carter, who was a boxer who had been wrongfully committed for murder. And Bob Dylan decided after, it got sent to a whole bunch of celebrities. A bunch of them passed on it, being like, this doesn't sound plausible, it sounds fake, this could never happen. But Bob Dylan, being the just awesome guy that he is back then, especially, I don't know him today, I've heard he's kind of grouchy, but you know what, he gets to be grouchy. Anyways, he goes and he meets with Rubin Carter in jail. And after he meets with Rubin Carter, he gets a whole bunch of ideas, but he can't write this song. He just can't get it together until he meets with Jacques Levy. And Jacques Levy, what he's able to do with the song is he turns this song and gives ideas to the song that make it more than a song. This song, Hurricane, is a movie. And yes, it is literally a movie starring Denzel Washington. You can go watch that. But I mean, the 8-minute song itself is an 8-minute movie that is just totally music. But it's a movie. I'm telling you. It starts off with pistol shots ring out in the barroom night. Enter Patty Valentine from the upper hall. Just like any play, it starts. And then we continue going into it further and further until we hit the first chorus. This is the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame. And as I said, the rest of it goes from there. And I don't really want to speak too much of the lyrics. I don't want to, ruin too much of it. But it goes from there to tell a story that, as I said, is just as relevant and devastating and prescient today as it was when it was written originally in 1975. And unfortunately, this song fell into heavy controversy. So the good news is that Rubin Carter did get a retrial after this song was written and after Bob Dylan toured it extensively. The bad news? Well, at that retrial, he was found guilty again by a judge. It took another, I believe, 8 or 9 years of Rubin Carter in prison until he was finally able to get out through going through the U.S. Appeals Court. And I'm not even going to say late 80s. And it is a travesty, and it's something that, once again, is a story that we are too familiar with today. This album is iconic. It tells the story of something that is now an unfortunate, ugly, horrible, universal truth, which is the experience of racism in America, perpetrated by people who look just like me and like Bob Dylan. And so just this album, as I said, just go listen to it. It is fantastic. It is a thinker. It is an album that is not perfect, not without controversy, but it is excellent. I think it is Bob Dylan's most fascinating work. And Hurricane, as I said, I think is one of the greatest songs of all time. I think almost reflecting that is the fact that, and this is a little bit of a bonus fact, Bob Dylan has not played this song since the 1970s. Why? I was not able to find online. My guess, it's just too horrific. So, anyways, hope you enjoyed that record of the week, my friends. Sorry that it was such a somber tone. I'll pick something fun next week. But thank you so much again for listening to our album, Get Political. Check out this if you like that. Check out this because it's a billion times better. It's iconic. Stay hip, my indie friends.